Merry Christmas, Mark.
Merry Christmas, Thomas, my man.
My brain shut down for a second after I said that.
How are you doing?
Well, this is actually after Christmas.
Yeah, this is actually probably way after Christmas, so we probably messed up a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Well,
But that's all right.
This will be uploaded after Christmas.
It's part of the magic. It's part of the
We're
magic.
recording it.
Exactly.
Speaking of magic,
So,
Mark, where are we?
we are.
Merrick, where are we?
We are in the one and only Disney World.
Well, we're not in Disney World.
We are in Disney World.
We're in Disney. Disney World is like.
This is Disney World.
Oh damn! I guess you're right. Actually.
Yes, we are in Disney World right now. We are in the wilderness.
Wilderness Lodge or
yes.
Fort Wilderness.
Well, the wilderness still, it's
well,
nice.
You could be in my backyard or we're in the wilderness.
Okay. Now he wants me to get specific.
No, I mean like in case people think we're out we're just chilling on.
All right. I'll do it right.
All right.
I'll bring in journalist.
All right, take two.
All right, here we go. This is Mark Lopez here.
This is Thomas Ouellette.
We are in Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida. And we are at the Fort Wilderness Lodge Resort.
And it's really cool.
It's lovely out here.
Super awesome.
For some reason, I feel, I don't know. I feel amazing. I feel great. I feel fantastic. I don't know why.
It's what Disney does, man.
It really does. It really makes you feel really good inside.
Now give me $500.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the kicker. That's the kicker right there.
Our guest today is a friend I've had. We haven't seen each other in like 6 or 7 years.
Long time.
This is Cait Johnson.
Cait Johnson, the legend. Theater major, yes.
Yeah, stage management.
Stage management. Were you in anything 8th grade year?
Yes, I was actually an actor until like sophomore year of high school. Classic story of found out I wasn't great at it, so switched to something else.
You made we went to districts one year and you made a like a model of a stage.
Yeah, that's what started it all for me. I feel like
looked awesome.
Thank you. I did like a scenic design for a song from Seussical, the musical.
Hey.
And I remember like going to Michael's and like picking out all the sparkliest things I could. It was for Amazing Maisie,
Yes.
classic. And so I really loved it. I just like have always loved like crafts and stuff. So that was what it really was for me. And then I like didn't really know exactly what that would like lead me into, but that's when I like applied to OXA for high school for technical theater. I applied for technical theater and drama and got in for technical theater. I cried because I wanted drama.
Of course.
But then I still like auditioned for all the shows. I was in a couple of them. But yeah, I really like found out technical theater was more like what I actually loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And now you've been doing this now since freshman year of high school now, like 7 years now.
Yeah,
stage
it's been
management.
a while.
That's wild.
What's my life?
So currently you're in. Are you like UCF? Like where are you doing that now?
I actually just graduated this month.
Fantastic.
From Pace University.
Whoa,
nice.
That's in New York City.
Yeah.
Whoa,
yeah.
So I'm assuming you were you at New York and then the virus hit and everything closed down?
Yeah, I came down here for spring break and remember packed for 2 weeks and then stayed here for like 5 months.
Yeah, stop the spread.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I was able to go back for the semester. I didn't go in person for any of my classes,
Right.
But I was just in my apartment with my roommate doing all my classes online, and then I, came back down here for the holidays, and I've been here for a while. But yeah, I graduated. Obviously, it wasn't a ceremony or anything, but I finished up. So now I'm just like figuring it out day by day.
So, you went to OXA. What do they do? Like, obviously, I'm sure they do like math classes and stuff like that too.
Yeah, it's like a normal.
So, what was your favorite class besides something theater related?
Gosh, that's a good question. I took so many technical theater classes, like over and over and over. I would probably say math. Well,
that's a miss for me. I am sorry.
I liked math.
Man.
Well, here's the
This
thing. I liked
interview is
math
over.
for
a
good part of it. But then I had a bad professor, and she kind of ruined it for me because she just made me feel so incompetent. And it was really weird how they did classes, like, because they had the like honors or gifted or whatever. I don't really remember how they classified things, but it was like half the class had to do more questions on their test or whatever.
What?
And then like the other class, half the class didn't because they didn't have enough professors to like split the classes up, and it just made us feel like so awful and whatever.
And
But now I am not great at math, but I did love it for a while.
Yeah.
I'm assuming because you guys had block schedule.
Yeah.
And block schedule is four classes in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were, if I remember, 9 to 4.
Yeah, we started. Yeah,
9 to 4.
That's correct.
Block schedule, and like classes were like 2 hours long or something like that.
Yeah, it was like an hour
That's
40.
Brutal, man. Could you imagine math for 2 hours?
Dude, I could barely.
I could barely do 45
To be honest, I think block is actually the better way to go.
Really?
After I finished high school and I went to Valencia, like having that extra, like 20-30 minutes with the professor is
very beneficial.
Very impactful.
Yeah.
Because when you're in high school, they're like, hey, here's 45 minutes. Here's 5 things you got to learn. And then 5 things per each class. That's like 35 things.
Yeah. Man,
I'm having a hard time getting past 3. All right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to it. Like, of course, we started to hate it. The classes that you hated felt like 7 years long, and then you wouldn't have like your favorite class every day of the week. It was only every other day because it was rotating. But going to college, my classes in college didn't start till 9, and they were an hour 45 minutes long. So it was so much easier for me to like transition into college because I was already on that kind of block schedule anyways. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I liked college way more than high school.
Yeah.
I made sure that like the earliest I got to wake up is 10, and I was like, this is a win.
Yeah.
Good for Thomas. I've done good.
There's something about Florida and New York. Just there, I can never like not mention it when it comes to like people who've been there and like live down here or vice versa. There's just like a generation that's just like there's a whole parallel with both of them. And so you were living in New York. So how was that for you while you were there going to Pace? Because Pace is a pretty big school, I would say.
Yeah.
Especially for arts.
Yeah, it's a much larger school. Like the arts department, Pace Performing Arts, is pretty decent size. I mean, my personal class, there was 16 of us stage managers, which is a lot of stage managers for a small program. But then there was like that we were just one school out of the larger Pace University that has like the School of Business and education and all that. So
was there like a specific campus you guys had to go to? Or
in the financial district downtown, right across from like City Hall and the Brooklyn Bridge, is there's like one main building that has everything in it. It has like the library, the cafeteria, it's all just in one place.
Right.
So it is a really small campus, but there's a lot of people there, and you know the certain people in your classes or whatever, but it's kind of like high school in the way that it's like still, you don't know everybody, and it's not like a small town feel.
Oh yeah, too.
So I like that.
Yeah, because you're in the city, man.
Yeah.
You're in the city, so you never sleep.
I think me and Mark went to New York to audition for colleges over there in January of 2017.
Yeah, 2018.
No, it would have been 2017.
So I graduated 2017, so 2018.
I graduated 2018, and it happened before I graduated, so
January 2018.
No. Yes.
Come on, Tom.
I'm
beating him.
No, this never happened.
Yes,
No.
yes.
What's wrong? I'm sorry, I'm distracted.
Continue. So
She has a really cute dog. And
yes.
But I remember we were there, and I realized like, I think Katie is here. I think. And I never thought about it because we were in New York. We were in New York for like a week or like just a week, something like that.
Yeah,
four days.
Yeah, I was probably definitely there.
Like,
I've been living there since August of 2017.
Yeah.
Did you like it over there more than here?
There's definitely pros and cons to both. I think at first, like, if you would have asked me 6 months ago, I would have said, like, only New York. But having to spend so much time in Florida after living in New York, it's, like, made me appreciate, like, here it's so much easier to social distance, like, and it's also, my family's here, and, like, the air is just cleaner, like.
Yeah.
But in New York
is smelly, man.
Yeah. But in New York, like, that's where my heart is. Like, I love the city. Like, I love my apartment and stuff. So, like, I like both. Like, I feel like the same, but
I told you about
it's nice to have, like, the independence of New York,
I think I texted you and told you about how I got robbed there.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
So, we were in this... Oh, there's some
God.
kids outside. So we were at Times Square, and this is the thing that pisses me off the most. We were in the middle of Times Square, and my group was only like just barely in front of me. And so I was away from the herd for like a second, and this dude walks up to me and he hands me a CD, and he goes, "Yo, man, I'd really appreciate it if you play this in your hometown." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, whatever." And you know they just hand you things.
They really do.
Yeah.
And then before I realized it, another dude was behind me like, "Yo, can we get a tip though? Can we get a tip?" And I'm like, "No, I gotta get going, guys." And then a third guy shows up, and there's like 4 dudes around me, and they're just like, "Yo, give us a tip, bro. Give us a tip." And I took my wallet out to be like, "No, I don't have any money," because I'm an idiot. And there was the only $20 bill I had was poking just outside of the wallet, and the dude grabbed it, and they just walked away.
Wow.
And my group was right in front of me, and I'll never forget the name of the CD. It was called Fagun's Track for the Smokers. I never played it because I didn't want my computer to explode. But yeah, no, that was my first night in New York, and I was just like, man, I fucking hate New York.
Do you have any New York stories?
Gosh, I feel like there's so many. I live in the East Village, so it's like pretty far from Times Square, you know, and I try to avoid going up there because, yeah, I don't like, you know, the hustle. I thought before I lived there, I was like, I'm always going to spend time in Times Square. I'm always going to be where all the people are. But it's like only tourists there. It's not like people who live in New York. So like where I live is more like college age area. There's like a bunch of bars. I'm right near like Tompkins Square Park, which is like a really nice, like smaller park. But this summer, actually, we saw, or, you know, I guess this fall it was, me and my roommate were out on our fire escape, and we saw this couple, like, we live right across the street from a church, and we saw this couple walking down, like, in full bridal, like, she was in, like, a gown, you know, and then there was the groom,
Oh, wow.
and they were just walking down the middle of the street, like, and went right up into the church to get married, and we were just, like, sitting on our fire escape, like, okay, you know, like, just right down the street.
That's so
And it was
cool.
like, you know, people walking their dogs like around, like people, you know, people are just in crazy things. That's, you know, that's pretty normal. So, yeah.
Did you ever
Pretty
get
crazy
robbed?
there. No, I actually, I
Damn
mean, like,
it.
knock on wood somewhere. But I luckily have been pretty safe. I mean, I have RBF really badly, so I feel like people are kind of scared to
Well, they say
approach me.
you haven't been to New York unless you've been robbed first. So I mean, I'm
Or like
I'm,
a
I'm
bird
basically
pooped on you?
I'm
That is
I'm
also-
That hasn't happened to me. I mean, maybe I'm not
Damn.
in real New Yorker yet, but I did have the I did have like the mice infestation.
oh,
you
okay,
know,
okay.
the like
That's on the bingo list.
Got you,
like the
got you.
ceiling
All right,
leaking
that's
from the
definitely
lighting
New York,
fixture,
that's
like
definitely New
Alright.
York.
pre-war buildings. Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna tell us a story about just 2 people just walking down the street getting married, I mean, that's pretty New
That's
York.
kind of raw. I do that.
That's
I do
pretty
that. I do. You know.
Yeah, it
pretty
was pretty. It's
fire.
pretty nice. I like, you know, everyone jokes about the ambiance, but
Oh yeah.
that's like that's a much more pleasant story than like, you know, the time I had to switch over subway cards because the guy was puking on, like, you know, about to throw up on my shoe. Like
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that happens too, but it's very rare. Like there's so many more of the like magical moments. So
it also smells really bad sometimes.
yeah,
for
the
me-
masks have helped. I
Yes.
feel like
yeah,
now
for sure.
it's pretty gross.
So you're a stage manager at Pace University. Me and Thomas also did theater back in high school and a little after. I knew I guess I would say I knew the basis of how a
Mhm.
stage manager job title was, how they worked, how they functioned into the group, especially in a production of some kind. But it's much harder than that, I know for sure.
Hmm.
So can you kind of tell us like what a day to day would look like for you while you're in school?
Yeah.
Or like just what is some things that you see in terms of like as a stage manager, like people are like, this is a stage manager, and you're like, no, it's more than that, because there's obviously like it's tougher. Like being a stage manager is not easy at all.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
what we were doing in theater was just only a third of what I did not even know you guys had to do,
Mhm.
especially for production, especially on Broadway and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like that's a really good question. I feel like in like middle school and high school, like everyone kind of has the same idea of what a stage manager is, and it's basically like what the teacher does, you know. And like when I started getting into stage management, we like at Oxa we had like main stage shows and we had like student directed shows that were smaller, and I mostly worked on the student directed ones. So the stage manager kind of just did everything tech wise, kind of like the theater teacher. So they like I was helping like build the sets and like do the lighting design and like fix the lights, like do all of that stuff because there was only me and like a couple other tech people. And it's mostly just from like having the lack of people, but going to school, like I when I started going to school for stage management, I had definitely, that was my idea going in. I didn't know that there's like a whole stage management team on every production, and I didn't know that it was like so much more to that. But in school we like have different breakdown of classes like stage management 1, 2, 3, 4, and we also we have to take like all of the like basic acting, directing, scenic design classes. So we learn what everyone else in a production does besides the stage manager. So we know how to communicate with them, because I think the stage manager, the best way to put it is like they're the parent of the production on like a day-to-day basis, in the rehearsal room. So the director is kind of like, the leader, the guider of like the general energy where the show's going, and like how they want it to look. And they kind of have like final say, I guess, of like how things run. But the stage manager comes behind and like puts everything in like a breakdown, like schedule-wise, how things are going to get done. Like they are more of that mind of things.
Which is very, very important.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, so many productions have failed because there's not like a person there to be like, hey guys, we actually need to move on. Otherwise we're not going to have enough time to do this, like, so, and they're like, in terms of when a production is running, they're the person who gives everyone the call times and is like calling the cues and giving the rehearsal reports and like production reports, saying like, hey guys, everyone who wasn't here, here's how things went, making sure things stay up to date and like making sure the production stays like it stays the same throughout the run of the show.
What's your favorite show?
Oh, God.
Or maybe a show you got to stage manage that would.
Well, that too, but I want to like, but even if it's one you haven't managed, I want to know what's your favorite. I feel like it says a lot about a person.
It does. It changes all the time. I feel like my favorite one that I've worked on. I did a production of Guys and Dolls.
Hey, I was in Guys and Dolls.
I love it.
I was Arvite Abernathy.
Amazing. I love that. I love that role.
I was like, Sarah, what's going on? And I looked like that the whole time.
Yeah, the one old guy.
That's
and
a
then
beautiful performance.
I got my own song and everything. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was nice.
I loved it. It was my first time working on a main stage production as the production stage manager, so like the lead of the stage management team at Pace. And it was also my like big like last kind of hurrah working on the main stage shows, because I had worked my way up through that, and then you usually get to do like one or two big ones. So that was my like big one, and I got like a lot of control over how the rehearsal ran, and like, I'm such a geek about like paperwork, like how schedules look and everything.
Yeah.
So I got to decorate.
Fax me that. What's up? What's up?
I got to choose like the color scheme of everything, and so like I'm very
beige.
like
I'm feeling beige right now.
Ours was yellow, and it worked like perfectly because it overlapped Halloween. So like I decorated for Halloween, and like the cast was all like my friends and stuff, because we're all in college and stuff. But the only people who were like professionals on the production, like working in the industry, like I guess like real life adults, we like to say, was like the director and then our mentors. So we had a lot of freedom to like the lighting designers and costume designers and even the technical director were all like students, but we were all like seniors and juniors who like were very capable, and we knew what we were doing, and we were under the watch of all of our mentors, obviously. But it was the first time I felt like I was in a professional environment where I was like respected as a professional, even though I was still like a student. And I think it went really well. And everyone, like, of course there was classic, like the half of the set stopped lighting up halfway through one of our runs. And like, we didn't have a board op. So I had like last minute had to train someone like how to do it while I was calling the show. And, like, just classic things like that always happened. But everyone had a lot of fun. And I feel like because we made it so, like, the stakes weren't super high. Because I feel like so many times, especially in college and school, people put the pressure on themselves. Like, this has to be perfect. This has to be perfect, because we're, like, presenting, like, ourselves as artists through this. Like, you're only as good as your last performance or whatever. But, when you're in a learning environment, you just have to, like, focus on what you're getting out of it and also having fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like why
Yeah.
you love doing it.
If it's
so
not fun, why do it?
Exactly.
yeah, so I got a tattoo for that show because I loved it so much. My friend was the scenic designer, the props. She was on the scenic design team. She
Mhm.
worked as the props master, and so she drew the wheelbarrow. We had Adelaide come in on a wheelbarrow and
Yes,
bushel and a peck.
for bushel and a peck.
Yeah, so
Yes.
she drew the wheelbarrow for me, and then I got it tattooed.
Oh, look at
Aw.
that. That's nice.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I really loved it.
Is that one too on the top of your wrist, or are those just colors?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a rainbow tattoo. You
Oh,
know, the
heck
classic Pinterest rainbow.
I saw what was it? You had like an astrology book on your table before. Are you big
Oh
into that
yeah,
kind of thing?
crystals. I'm really getting into crystals and like
Crystals.
meditating with them and stuff. I'm, like not a very spiritual person, but I really believe in there's scientific evidence that they
Yeah.
have like energies and all that stuff, and they're really pretty.
Well, that's cool.
So yeah, I really
Which
like
one's your
them.
favorite?
I really like the rose quartz. There's like
Yes.
I have one in my pocket.
look at
It's just
that.
like really pretty pink,
Yeah,
and
that is. It's really cool.
it's focusing on like self-love and like
I
Yeah.
like
that stuff.
aquamarines.
Aquamarines?
Yes.
so
your vibe?
pretty.
I also like. I'm not sure what it's called, but there's like a very. Is it emerald? Emeralds
Yeah,
are red,
yeah.
right? No, emeralds
Oh,
are green.
emeralds are green. Yeah.
What's the red one?
Uh,
I'm an idiot. Is this?
I'm still learning, but my sister for Christmas got me crystal books, and they just like have a breakdown of all
Yeah.
of the energies, like, and all of the shapes and
So I
sizes.
couldn't
what they
be
mean.
around crystals because they look like candy. I would definitely
You would
get.
eat 'em?
I'd get suspicious. I'd be like,
oh, okay.
what if I'm wrong? What if it does taste like?
If I'm wrong,
What
you
are those
know?
forbidden
They'd
foods?
be like, all right, I'm in the hospital again. I ate another crystal. The guy's like, you gotta stop doing this, Thomas. When will you learn?
Like those things at the bottom of the fish tanks. the
Yeah.
Little pebbles.
Oh yeah, those look delicious. I don't care
Yeah.
who you are. I mean, or what was it? Not Tide. No, chapstick. Chapstick smells great, and I'm like, this is gonna taste good.
Oh,
just,
I
like,
see what
take
you
a little
mean.
look.
I see what you
And I'm
mean.
like,
This man. This man.
My roommate is like every time we have a candle, she's like, I just want to bite it.
yes.
Like,
Someone,
don't bite the wax.
understands. Yeah. No, if something smells good, like your first instinct is gonna want to be to eat it. So like if it's like Lotso from Toy Story 3, it smells like strawberries. I'm like, I would try to eat that guy. If I was a kid, I'd be chowing down on some Lotso. But maybe that's just a me thing. I have a question. I know so we met each other like 6th grade? I think we had a class together.
I think 6th grade.
What do you remember your first impression of me being?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna be honest. I have like no memories, like in general.
Oh my god.
But we were friends.
Like I remember
I
having a very
Obviously,
strong
wasn't like repulsed by
strong
you.
hatred of you. I wanted you to die randomly. Just
No,
like...
I feel like I was never a mean person. I mean,
No,
I
you
don't
were
really
nice.
know.
You were super
But
nice.
yeah, I mean, we talked. We were like friends.
Yeah, no, we had like
we were pals.
we had like a squad.
I feel like you kind of reminded me of like people my brother was like friends with, because he's very into like. He's just like kind of more an introvert, but like likes having friends. He's
Yeah,
like
oh,
he's
definitely.
into like
Whoa.
video games, like
Oh yeah, well, I'm into video games.
like
I wouldn't call
computer
myself
stuff.
introverted though.
I called you something.
Remember my hair? Remember my hair from 6th grade?
it was
Is
pretty long.
Ian from Smosh, or basically, is what I was. Yeah. No, with the bread head. I mean, it got long, but
Oh yeah.
it was basically like I didn't do nothing with it.
What?
I just let it
What
sit.
did you say earlier? Weed person? Is that what
A
you said?
mean person.
Oh, I thought she said
a
weed
weed person.
Oh
I
no.
was trying, this whole time
I was
trying
never really a mean person.
You know, I never smoked mad doinks back in middle
Me
school.
as
I don't remember being
11-year-old.
so mean.
Gosh, no.
Could you imagine?
I'm terrified. I was like, no.
Yo, guys, I
was
found
never
this.
a mean
I found this
person.
I found
drugs.
this
I found these drugs, guys.
Gosh,
Let's drink,
no,
let's drink some
no.
weed,
Oh,
guys.
man, I'm sorry.
Do you remember all the like the don't do drug things they would make us watch in the announcements? Why not? I've asked the same thing
feel
to
like-
other people from middle school, and they don't remember either. I'm
Well-
like, damn, I'm the only person whose memory goes back that far.
What was it again?
Yeah, maybe you were the only one
Remember-
listening.
There were like anti-drug PSAs. They
I
were-
remember
But I
those.
was when you just said that, I was like, wait, we had morning announcements.
We
I was
did.
like, what? I don't
Oh,
remember that.
Well, I remember in middle school we had like homeroom, and homeroom was like the
I never had
longest thing ever.
homeroom. What the hell? I had just
Homeroom was just first period. It's just like
When they say
Yeah,
first
we-
period, bro, you square.
whoa.
Well,
I
so-
feel like
sorry,
normal. Most people say I was gonna say normal people. That's so bad. And most people say homeroom, but our school didn't call it that.
No, it was just
Our
first
school was
period.
just like first period.
Yeah, Neptune just was weird. And
First
just called
period,
it
gang,
homeroom,
what's up,
And
what's
it was
up?
like an hour and 45-minute class. Yeah, like it was like the longest class of the day, and then we had like announcements in the morning. First, what I do not know, because I don't remember those. But yeah, man, middle school. What a time.
No, there were some crazy days in that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you remember
I
it?
remember Christian Wilcox was Aladdin.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
With
I
that-
will never let him live down his performance as Gaston, though.
Oh yes,
Like-
yes, I remember that
like
too.
that muscle suit they made him wear. Gosh, that was.
Oh, you went to school with Lexi Delgado.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in middle school with us as well. That was really cool.
And she went to Oxa as well.
Mhm.
You know, it's doing really well.
Oh, I wonder what she's
Yeah.
doing right now.
Yeah,
haven't
I'd say
talked
you
in
guys had
ages.
quite a few people in that school. I can just remember at the top of my head, just from theater and just like names just known, like Olivia Tyndall, Oriana, Bustamante.
And sorry if this is incorrect, but Aiden's girlfriend,
Sabrina,
Sabrina,
yes.
right? Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure they're still dating. Yeah, we were close in high
Yeah,
school,
they're definitely
and
still dating.
our parents are friends.
He canceled our New Year's plans
my
to be with
God.
her.
Oh my
Well,
gosh, my friends did the same.
I am upset.
People
It's
in
alright, Thomas,
relationships.
it's
And she goes to
alright.
school in like South Carolina, so she's only down for a little bit. And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah,
look, I
okay.
understand.
You're like, I understand.
I understand,
but
but I am
listen to
still
me.
hurt. I'm still hurt.
Oh,
No,
man.
we me and him are still super tight, like
Oh,
we
that's
were
good.
back then. Yeah, no, it was high school or middle school was great. A lot of fun memories there. So you're super into theater and art and stuff like that. What do you remember something that clicked in your mind when you were like, this is what I want to do? Was it in your family or did you make it your own? Were you?
Yeah, is there anybody else in your family doing theater or arts?
Actually, my two siblings are also into technical theater as well,
Oh,
like
nice.
kind of stage management. My brother does stage management, but he also does like props and scenic design stuff. And my little sister right now is applying for a bunch of schools
Nice.
in just film, like stage management, theater. Kind of, she's like trying to decide what she wants to do. But my parents put me in dance when I was like really little, like 2 or 3 or something like that. And I did dance up until I graduated for
Really?
college, or graduated high school to go to
Oh.
college. And yeah, it was just kind of like fun for me. But then I thought I was going to be a performer. And I did like, shows in middle school and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I did that scenic design in 8th grade,
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, maybe I like this side of things more. That was the first time I was ever like introduced to that kind of stuff, because we didn't, even when we did our shows in middle school, we didn't have like a backstage crew or anything.
had,
we had like Miss Somberger doing everything.
we had like 4 platforms.
Yeah.
Like those giant wooden platforms. And we're all like 11 or 12, sometimes maybe 13. And she's like, yo, you guys carry this giant platform. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
What the hell, man? I'm like...
It feels like a fever dream. Like,
No, it does.
But, so I never really was exposed to like what everything in technical theater was and like all the possibilities of that. But then Christian was he was like, I want to direct one of the student-directed shows for his senior year. He did it with a friend of ours. And they were like, we want you to be the stage manager. And I was like, okay, well, I don't really know exactly all the responsibilities. So I was like Googling, like, what does a stage manager do? And my first book was like the Bible, whatever that I made was like really, really bad. And that just kind of like got me like kickstarted into like, I was like, oh, I really like this kind of stuff, like stage management, like the overall like
Can you stage manage?
technical side of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Siri,
that's
how do
kind of
I
like
stage
what got
manage?
me into it. Yeah, literally, that was me. I was Googling, and then when I remember I was in my college interview for PACE, we met at like a Starbucks at 7 in the morning in Union Square, me and my professor, who's like the head of the program, for my interview. And he was like, so where did you like learn all this stuff? I was like, so I got this book, and it was like a guide to being a stage manager, and I was Googling like examples of paperwork, and I was just like sitting in my room like late at night, like trying to redo all my stuff to make it pretty and match the stuff I saw on Google. And I mean, it worked. So, but like, I've
Yeah,
learned
man.
there's so
I got
much
you
more
where you
to
are.
it than that.
I forget if you said what your favorite musical was.
Oh gosh, we must have gotten off track. Oh wait, I said I worked on Guys and Dolls is my favorite
There's
one that
favorite
I've
one to
worked
work
on.
yeah.
But my favorite musical. Oh God, that's such a good question.
Mine's Phantom of the Opera.
Classic.
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 Oh, it's about
pretty
an
telling.
ugly dude who sings. I'm like,
It's
could be me. Could
one of
be
the
you,
longest
could be me,
running
could be
ones.
you.
So
It is.
you
I
know,
think it is
people love it.
It's the longest running musical on Broadway. I think the Fantastics is
I
like
think
the
you're correct.
Is the Fantastics a musical or is it a play?
It's a musical.
Well then,
Well, it's the longest running off-Broadway show, not the longest running show on Broadway.
sure. I know it's a rock opera,
Sure.
right? And when it came out, a lot of people didn't really like it too much.
Phantom?
Yes, because it's not an opera.
No.
It's a rock opera.
No. But it was pretty big, I think, when it came out. It was around the same time, I think, Into the Woods came out, so...
I think the dude who played Phantom on Broadway was the director had a plumber
Oh.
who like sang, and he's like auditioned for this, and he got Phantom. Like, that's crazy to
There
me.
you go,
You
man.
know, I just paid so much money to get a degree in this, and I don't. I
Plumbing is-
believe you.
plumbing
I'm
is
like,
the
yeah,
way to
taking your
go.
word for it because I have no idea.
Yeah, just be a plumber first, and then be
Yeah.
an actor second.
And
I
there
mean,
you go.
that
There
every
you
every
go.
actor been a plumber at some point.
Exactly, bro.
You know, so many people throughout my like college career told me, like all my professors, like none of them went to college for like the stuff. They were all people who like had gone to summer stock and like done
Mhm.
those like, you know, just doing a bunch of musicals or shows back to back to back and learning at like regional theaters, like small community theaters, and they just learned all the basics through that and stuff. And that's, you know, they met someone there who met someone there who
It's
met
all about
like, you know, knew
meeting
somebody.
people, right?
Yep. So I was like, oh, you're telling me this only makes so much money for,
Well,
but you know,
yeah,
it was worth it.
I definitely-
think, but
Yeah, you're putting
it's just
the-
like funny. I was like,
Exactly.
I feel like
I'm here.
like that's a big thing, right? With acting and stuff, you can't. I mean, even if, like our friend Frank who goes to Juilliard, he's like, honestly, Juilliard is just a name.
Mhm.
There's nothing. They're not going to teach you anything different here. They won't teach you anywhere else. It's just like, I mean, you said even the quality varies, especially with the pandemic, you know.
I think,
But with like technical theater though, that's different. That
Mm.
other things go into that. It's not because I mean, acting is really talent based at the end of the day, and it's sometimes you either have it or you don't, or you can be the best actor, but if you're not what the director's looking for or what the producer's looking for, then you know it doesn't matter how good you are.
Mhm.
You're just not. You're not going to get the part. But with technical theater, that is about performance, and that not like performing, but job performance, right? Like how good you do that. So I would say that is absolutely a good idea to go to school for.
Yeah, I agree
yeah.
too, and I think it also works for the individual. I think, regardless, like you're making the effort to go to school, talk to the people, make the connections, continue to learn your craft in the
Yeah,
meantime
for
too,
sure.
and learning as much as you can, and then finding the right places so you can get the right opportunity. So I would say for sure, like, you know, acting or not, and even as a technician, you know, it's the individual that has to make the effort. And obviously as an example, like you've obviously made the effort and the stuff to get to where you are now.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I think it's like, you know, everyone's different. For me personally, it definitely was worth it, especially for the connections,
Yeah,
you know,
of
like,
course.
and just like getting me, that's the one thing when I was applying to schools, I was like, yeah, I'm going to apply to these other schools, but I have to go to New York. Like, I just felt like a very strong like intuition. I was like, I need to go to New York.
What do you
And,
think
like,
it was?
yeah.
Just 'cause, like,
I
it's-
just loved it. Like,
yeah.
I went there for the first time when I was 11, and I was like, I had watched like, I feel like
Yeah.
every movie about like
Yeah,
classic
it's-
small town girl goes to big city, loves it, and so like I feel like that was like the story I wanted to have.
remember
And I
hearing
mean,
about
I
your
ended up
trips.
really like it. Yeah, I went like all the time. Anytime my mom was like, okay, we, you know, can finally go on one vacation. Like, where can we go? Like, we would always go to New York. And I just like, I think it was such a big contrast from like
Mhm.
where I was. I think like in Sophia's episode, they were saying like, how they wanted to move out from, you know, the
Yeah.
Florida atmosphere.
Yeah.
That's where they wanted to go someplace different. And I kind of wanted the same thing. I wanted to go
Mhm.
someplace completely different from where I had been.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
I've always you know, because I feel like you have to be wanted to do that for the right reasons, you know. I think there's people attribute getting out of town, leaving, going somewhere else as just like success, like this town, whatever. But then it's like you have a place in mind you want to go. That's like a different. That's like a I need to go here. It's not I need to go here because I want to get out of my town because I want to who I was high school is gone. I don't want anything to do with that. It's like I got to go here because this is what's next for me.
Yeah, like very much felt like the right next step.
Because there's so many people who went to college out of state and spent a lot more money simply because out of spite of like the place they came from. Because I mean, leaving is not. You can succeed where you are, and then you can leave afterwards. You don't have to leave to succeed.
Yeah, leaving won't solve your problems. You
Exactly.
know? Like,
I feel like that's a mistake a lot of people make sometimes.
But I think it also too, in retrospect, like it's also, you know, I guess also the environment. You know, sometimes the environments can be made to where like the decision to leave is just because you need somewhere where it's not like you don't like it here. It's just if you're not living in a very good environment for yourself, maybe the next step is going somewhere different and trying some and see if it works. You know, trying is always the best way too. But yeah, on both stands too, I agree on both sides in terms of that because it's tough. It's just always the individual. It's whatever works for you, and like where you think your life has to lead you, and then the steps you take from there for sure.
yeah, for sure. I know some people who moved to the city and were like, yeah, I decided this definitely isn't for me, you know, and they transferred someplace else and found that's like will actually make them happy and stuff. So, you know, everyone has their own path.
And so I'm not sure if we mentioned this earlier in the recording, but we are at Katie's trailer.
Yes.
Yeah,
tell us a little bit about that. Well, this is the next steps of Katie Johnson. So we're obviously, you know, wherever we are during this time that we record this, we're still, you know, very much in the pandemic. Yeah. So, tell us just a little bit about just you coming back, because now you're living here, and you're living in, you know, Disney property, and you have your own, you know, little place here. It's awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
You guys aren't seeing this because obviously it's audio, but this is just like she has this decked out.
I know she decked it out. It looks awesome.
It looks amazing.
I was jealous. I'm like, I wish I lived in a trailer.
It's just like for you, and that's what's great about it, you know. And you're also like, I didn't think for some reason I didn't know you could do this. I didn't know you could just rent a place and find a spot here. I thought, you know, these places are, you know, there's like, you know, there's vacation hotels and stuff like that. Especially for wilderness, you guys have the cabins. So I didn't think for a second. I was like, oh, people can live here. And then I realized, okay, well, I should have known that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're living here now. So how's that been for you? How was your process going into where you are now here?
Yeah, so I have always been obsessed with like tiny houses and like tiny living and like trailer living and like just basically not living in a house because I don't know why. I guess I've always been drawn to like camping and, you know, being close to outdoors and like
camping is badass.
Yeah, I'm really also like hate cleaning, so I feel like the smaller space I live in, the better. Yeah. And living in, you know, a New York apartment has definitely made me realize I can totally do it. So we came out here all the time when I was like younger. My family, like I would have birthday parties out here. I remember we would just rent a campsite and like put up a tent, and me and some of my friends would just like go camping for a night for my birthday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we have like a lot of great memories out here. So when quarantine started, and I found out I was going to be in Florida for much, much longer than I had expected, it was really driving me crazy because I didn't have any of my stuff with me. I had only the stuff I had packed for spring break. So I didn't have like any of I had like some of my school stuff, but I really just felt like so out of sorts and like disconnected from everything because I had to finish up my entire semester like in my childhood bedroom, which I hadn't planned for, and you know, like, and it was just like a lot to cope with, and I was like, I felt so lost, and I was like, wait, all of this would be solved, you know, if I had like a mobile home, like if I could have just like been living in it and traveled or whatever, you know, like obviously it's much more to that, but I like got obsessed with people who like put their renovation videos on TikTok of their like trailers they had renovated and RVs and stuff and they were living in. And those are the people who were like succeeding at quarantine, I feel like, well, you know, in relative terms, but in my eyes, because they were like able to go wherever they wanted and still stay safe. And, you know, they didn't have to worry about being trapped somewhere, which is how I very much felt. So I wanted something that would give me the freedom to go where I wanted, when I wanted, you know, and just like, with everything shutting down, like I very much thought I would be working on, trying to PA on Broadway shows, like right out of college.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That was like my plan, and that was where my life was like looking where it was gonna go. But now with everything shutting down and like having the time to really take a break and like realize what what makes me happy and what I need to do for myself, like I was just working, and I didn't want to get like worn out, or overexhausted too early on. So I was like, I need to take time and, like do some probably like regional work, out of school and like gain experience at smaller theaters. Like I don't really need to work on, big shows like right away. And there's also just like kind of a distaste in my mouth for like commercial theater, I feel like right now, because everything's so money driven, and
absolutely
I hate that.
Sure.
Like I hate being a part of that, so like I was like, I kind of want to get out from that right now. And so I just like started going down a rabbit hole, like researching into what it would take to, have a trailer and stuff. And my lease is up in May of 2021. But I was like, I'm just looking, for the future. And so I was talking to my parents about it, and they had also been thinking about getting one for our family for a while. So they had been, saving up. And so we just like talked about it. We were just like looking. And you can go to like RV places and just like tour them for free, and like look. So we were doing that just to see like size-wise. I'm very much like a visual person.
Right.
So I was like, gonna plan way out in advance. And then we saw this one and toured it, and it was like within our budget. And so we brought my grandma out to look at it and to get her advice. And she was like, you know what, you guys should definitely, like, all of the pieces are falling into place. And like this just seems meant to be. So with my grandma and parents' help, like we were able to buy it, and we just decided like that would kind of be my quarantine project, which had always been my dream to like renovate something that was only for me, and kind of like I love a good challenge. So I was so excited to like learn how to sew everything and like reupholster. So it definitely kept me busy over quarantine, and it was very much like everything falling into the right place at the right time. And I'm very, very grateful for that. But I definitely didn't expect like any of this to happen. I was like, maybe someday, like later down the road with like a partner, and like, I'll like get something with like a newborn when we can't afford like a big house or something. New York, like
it's
full
got
time.
Like everything you need, like a microwave, an oven, like air conditioning and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
it really does have everything,
And, like, a bed,
You have
TV,
every essential you need. And
a fire extinguisher.
Nice,
Can you?
You're not like by yourself. Like there's community around you.
Yeah, and there's like right now we're parked here because I'm in Florida right now. I'm gonna be heading back up to New York soon while my lease finishes up.
Right.
While I still have it. And for the meantime, when it's not parked here, we just park it at like storage units. They have you can rent a parking space there while you're not using it. But yeah, while I'm down here, we try to, get a space out here for a couple of days and just park it out here and be in the environment. But there's so many national parks and like places all around the country that you can very cheaply or even for free, park it. And it's just like the same, environment. So I'm super excited to, take it everywhere.
Are these powered internally, or do you have to plug it in wherever you go?
It's, so there's like both options. You can run it off of gas, or you can plug it in. Right now, since it's parked at a campsite, there's like power outlets and everything.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Here. So, yeah.
And is it like if you were to drive this, so you can't put someone in here while it's driving, right?
No, you're not supposed to.
Damn,
not like an RV.
That'd be so dope.
That
right,
would be really
right.
dope.
Trust me, I asked first thing. I was like, can someone else drive? I'll sit back here.
Yeah,
add a seatbelt.
and when you drive, you gotta make sure everything's all locked up, right?
Yeah. We have like a process of before we move it, making sure everything's off the walls that's gonna break. Obviously like lights don't stay up. So we just like put everything into a bin.
And you had to learn how to drive with an RV.
I'm still learning.
With a
yeah.
trailer. I feel like that'd be the hardest thing ever.
Yeah, well, I drove a punch buggy, like a tiny little black Volkswagen.
That's a big change.
Literally all the way until
I
didn't start driving the truck until we got this summer. And so I had to really get used to like the depth perception and everything. I drove a small car because I was like, I'm really bad.
Me too.
And I'm like, I can't parallel park. I need a
Me
tiny
too.
car,
No,
so I don't have to.
Oh god, I'm so bad at that. I drive a small car too.
So that's why I got a small car because I was so bad at it. And so now I was like, I kind of have no choice. So yeah, I'm still learning. My dad definitely helps out in situations where I'm like, I can't, like I don't feel comfortable yet. But
you can make the drive to New York.
I'm hoping to, sometime this year. I would really like to, in 2021, just like take it as many places as I can.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, New York to Florida is only like a 14-hour drive.
Yeah.
So, and the good thing about having this is like, if you get tired, you can just park it somewhere for the night.
Yeah.
In any Walmart parking lot for free.
I was do you? I feel like when you back up with a trailer extension, is it like automated to steer the wheels in the trailer, or do you have to do it all like?
So it's
work
just
out
like
the physics and everything.
The wheels are just like straight wheels, like they don't pivot at all.
That's rough.
And so you just have to like my dad is so much better at it. Like I personally have not yet been confident enough in these tiny spaces to back it up. But yeah, it takes a lot of like readjusting and aiming so that way you get it like right back because they're like hooked up, and like the lights are hooked up, but they're just.
I gotcha.
So you're just like when you go out for groceries, like you just go out like outside of the property, probably like a Publix or Walmart, like you said.
Yeah.
You can unlatch the truck from this.
Yeah, the truck right now is unlatched, so we have it parked here.
That would make more sense. That would make more sense.
That's why I wanted.
I mean, that's the
No.
That's the bonus about having a trailer is if you have an RV, you gotta take the RV everywhere.
When I first started looking, I was like, I want, a trailer, like I want an RV type thing because I thought it would be easier. But after doing research, I was like, I want like a truck so I can, park it someplace and then also have the freedom to drive it without having to.
This is easier.
For me personally,
okay.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So I think the important message to remember at the end of the day is just like focus on yourself and what makes you happy and hold on to those things that make you happy and follow your own path and your own passion and it's easier said than done, but try not to compare your own journey to others because, even though someone else may have something that you want right now, it might not be what's best for you. And the only thing you can do in this life is, what's best for you and, focus on what makes you happy. So I feel like I'm just saying the same things over and over, but I just really want everyone to remember, like, it's so easy to get wrapped up in the, like, I want to have this, I want to have this, I want to have this because it will make me happy. But, like, there's so many things you can find, like, just within yourself that will make you happy if you don't focus on other people and, like, what their happiness is focused on and their journeys. So, yeah. My name is Cait Johnson, and this has been The Power of Four. And now presenting Venture Motel.